Another day has dawned and we are now well into the beginning of summer. Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome back to Fendt Farm here on GreenRiver. So I've made a couple of little changes since you were last with us. I've added one or two little extra bits. You can see here what I've done is I've added a second Chieftain trailer. Now this one here is the low loader, and you can see this is kind of earmarked by these wider panels here on the side. This one is purely just for transporting equipment around on the farm if we need to. This one here is a bale trailer. So you can see this one actually has straps, and we'll be using this to move some bales around from various different places back to the farm so we can get them stacked up in the shed. We're going to be doing a lot of baling on the farm, so we're going to be storing a lot of hay, a lot of straw. We probably won't bother with silage bales. We'll probably just stick to straw and hay, but we always have that option if we want it. And of course summer means we should now be into mowing season. If we just hop over the fence, you can see our grass has grown. So this is now in its final growth stage. This is now complete and ready for mowing. Now we couldn't get this up to stage 2 last time we tried because it was, already still showing the fertilizer effects. It is now ready to be fertilized again. So before we mow it, we will weed it to get it up to stage 2 fertilization. So we won't quite get the full effect this time around, but we'll definitely get a nice amount of grass cut on this. This is going to be our main hay field over here, and of course we do have that area way over there behind the forest as well, so we can always turn our attention to that too. Some of our crop fields should also be ready. If we take a quick look, you can see that these have moved on to the next growth stage, so we should be able to spray these fields around here once more as well. Corn is still in the planting stage, so we can't do anything there, but we might possibly even be able to get another growth stage or another fertilizer stage on our beets up here as well. We'll have to sort of do a little inspection a little later on and check to see whether or not they have grown enough. Now, as you left me last time, I was still touring around doing a little bit of contract work, and I ended up doing a contract work for fields 5, 6 and 8 on top of the fields that you'd already seen me do. So I have got a little bit of discounting work available. Not huge amounts, just bringing the prices down ever so slightly. I was looking at maybe doing some on this field here, but as with field 19, it's a canola field, which meant I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see where I was spraying, so I decided not to even take that one on. But you can see up here, lots of wheat and lots of barley in this area. This is predominantly what we've been working with, and you can see also we have wheat and barley ourselves here as well. This was a soybean field. I still haven't been able to get any contract work done on this field. It's still not popping up any missions, but maybe towards the end of the year those missions will become available again. We'll see. It's kind of outside of the planting window now, really. Well, technically it's still within the planting window for soybean, but for whatever reason it's just not popping the missions, so it is what it is. Let's take a quick look at our animals as well, see how they're doing before we head off. You see we are starting to get a little bit low on water, so I think the first thing we'll do is we'll give them a drink and top up their hay levels again. We're up to 60 sheep now, so in the opening sort of 6 days of this farm we have bred another 10 sheep, which is quite nice to see. Let's jump in here, make our way out. Do I have the weight attached? I think I do. Yes, I do. Okay. We'll do the bale first, and then we'll drop the weight off, and we'll grab the water trailer and give them a quick drink as well. Roll back the door here. It's going to be interesting trying to get some of our bales in and out of here, and I realised, I've bought that bale low loader trailer. We actually have an auto stacker trailer, so I might have just wasted a bit of cash on that Chieftain bale trailer. I guess that probably wasn't the smartest thing for me to buy, but never mind. I can always take it back and sell it. The great thing about seasons is that you do get that discount. So you do get that sort of 30 minutes of use window before you have to, return something. So we should hopefully get full price on that back if we do end up getting rid of it. Scooting our way through here. There is our Lady Juno working away nice and hard for us. And there we go, bale dropped off. So food wise, pretty much full again now. We may see a little bit of overflow on the ground for the next few hours, but that will start to sort of wear itself down quite quickly. So now we need to drop off the weight so we can use the bale trailer, the water trailer. Now you can see there's the auto load trailer. So I think I did kind of waste my time a little bit getting that bale trailer. I think I probably will end up taking that back and getting rid of it. I don't know why I thought I needed that. So yeah, kind of wasted a little bit of cash there. But as I say, we can get a refund on that, and it's not going to be the end of the world. Just poodle our way around here. There we go. Let's pop the fence. See if we can do this without running over any sheep. Probably not, but you never know. We might get away with it. I do actually quite like this kind of patchy effect in here. This effect of the grass being eaten by the sheep in some places and not in others. I like that. I was a bit unsure of it when I first saw it, but walking underneath our tractor there, so impatient to get to that little spot of grass just there that you couldn't walk around, had to walk underneath the tractor. Yeah, I was a little unsure how it would actually look, but now that the grass is fully grown, I actually quite like the effect of seeing these areas that have kind of been eaten away a little bit by the sheep, and then you've got these areas where you can see feeding in this area where there is a bit more grass. It just kind of adds a little bit more depth, I think, to the sheep pen. It's a nice little feature. So let's return the trailer. Our greenhouses won't need a drink for a while as well, because we topped those up yesterday. Got those nice and prepared. And today we're going to be looking at maybe bringing in some animals as well. So that's something we could look at, is getting an animal trailer. Now I'm unsure whether or not to get a small animal trailer or whether to get a large articulated truck trailer. Obviously we have some man trucks, but they all have very specific functions, and I don't know if I want to go through the rigmarole of removing the seed tender just so that I can occasionally use an animal trailer. What I'm thinking I'm doing is giving the Brawn animal trailer another chance, because we did have some issues with it on Seasons in the Valley, and I think it might work a lot better on this map. So what we'll do is, if I just open the gate up, we're going to go get rid of that Chieftain trailer, which I bought for absolutely no reason whatsoever. We're going to go and get rid of that and replace it with the Brawn animal trailer, I think, and then park that up in that bay. I think that's probably going to be a better use of our money. Ooh, wow. A little bit of an issue connecting up to that thing there. I have found that these also have quite a very low hanging attachment at the base, so these can sometimes get caught on the road network a little bit, especially when you're using these sort of side roads. We've got this little side bridge here, which is a kind of a shortcut to the store. This will also be slightly problematic here, I believe, in places. It was certainly bringing it over this way. I kind of got caught on things a couple of times. Hopefully it won't be so bad here. Seems to be pretty smooth. But it is things like that you need to be wary of, on some of these maps. Sometimes you get these little ridges or little notches, and they do cause all sorts of issues. Now with the animal trailer, we're not going to be going cross country with that. We're going to be following the roads, so we shouldn't have any of the issues that we had on the valley, because it's going to be nice and smooth road surface the whole way. There shouldn't be any little nicks and lips for it to catch on. So just drop that there for a second. Let's jump out. We'll sell this off. There we go. And let's go in and buy, where is it? The Brawn Animal Trailer. There we go. It's 24.5, so I need to take out a little bit more cash. Dipping into the loan once again. There we go. The colour actually works quite well with this farm as well. We can change it as well. So you can see we can get the right shade of green. And for rim colour, we can even match it up. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this in the older Fendt green colour, because it's more likely to be used with our 800 favourite than our 716. And what do I want? Do I want twin implements, flotation road, standard road? I'm curious about twin implements. I'm going to try that. And then we've got German, Irish, UK. German's going to be the closest to Dutch, so we'll go with that. It's not ideal, but there we go. So cost us just over 25 grand to buy that with those little amendments and changes. And I am really curious as to the different wheel types on this, as to what they actually look like. I've seen this with standard tyres and I've seen it with flotations. I don't know if I've ever used twin implements, so this will be interesting to see the variance and the difference. Just pull this out into the sun. We'll have a quick closer look at it in this new colour scheme. Yeah, I'm not spotting anything special with the wheels. Maybe I'm just not looking hard enough. But yeah, there we go. In its new kind of matching paint scheme for our older style Fendt 800 favourite there. So this is going to be used a little later on, because we're going to be looking at bringing in some cows at some point today, I do believe. I'm going to have to spend a bit of cash to do so, but we do have it available in our loan, which is good. So let's get this back to the farm, and then we're going to jump into the 716. We're going to weed that grass field behind or above the cows, and from there we'll then jump into the big M and we'll start making some hay. And we may well do some hay baling over there as well, or I might save that for later in the summer. I'm not quite sure yet. That there is native grass. It can't be improved. I have toyed with the idea of maybe ploughing that out for next year. We'll see what kind of yield we'll get with our grass this year before we make that decision. If you're wondering why the camera keeps seeming to jump a little bit, it's because we do have a CSZ tool attached to the front, and of course they have their own camera position. So this is the in-cab, this is the camera centered around the tool, and then this is the camera centered around the tractor. So that's why the camera seems to suddenly just jump a little bit while I'm in this thing. It's because it switches from implement to actual tractor perspective. There we go, we are done with the 800. So let's get this back in here. There we go. Open up that door, close this one. Let's jump into the 716. And now we should be able to actually weed this grass field, get it up to stage 2 so we can at least get an even bigger yield than it currently offers us. I need to close that door. In fact, actually, you know what? Let's go in through here today. We don't normally do it this way. We normally go through the side gate, but let's go through the building just for a little bit of a change. And there we go. We're now on the grass field. Get unfolded. And off we go, and we should immediately see, yes, there we go, you can see the ground is now darker as a result of being weeded, so we are getting that extra stage of fertilization in before we get this cut. So I'm going to start whizzing around this field with the weeder, get everything kind of up to stage 2, and then we'll put this away. We'll go grab the big M, we'll break out the tedder, and we'll start making hay on this field here. So closing out this first little area just here. Still got a lot of the field still to go, but this chunk of it now is weeded and up to stage 2. So let's lift the weeder, make our way around the corner, and continue working along that side of the field there. Just completing the final little pass here on this meadow for us to get it finally up to stage 2, and then we'll be breaking out the big M and unleashing that. So here we go, that's it, it's done. Let's fold everything up, drive back through. There's no way we're going to squeeze the big M through this gap, I don't think, so we're not even going to try. I need to let that fold up as well before I actually try and squeeze it through what is essentially quite a narrow gateway. There we go. So we're done here with the weeding. So let's get this cleaned, and then we'll stick it away in the shed, and we'll pull out the pottinger, because again the big M is going to struggle to get in and out of that building cleanly. So we'll use this to pull the tedder out, get it lined up, and then the big M can just come and collect onto it nice and easily. Going to need a huge amount of cleaning. There we go, it's pretty much done. Engine back on. So this is one of the sort of the moments on this farm that I've been really looking forward to, is just unleashing on these big fields with a big M. In the fields that I have used it in the past, it's always been too short an experience. It's been a couple of minutes of fun and then it's over. Not going to be the case on this map. We have this very large field 26 meadow by the cows for us to work with, and then we also have that even larger sort of meadow behind the forest. So we've got plenty of sort of space for us to really unleash and just go crazy with the big M. It's kind of tailor-made, I think, this map for the big M. Big, wide open spaces where we can really just get it going at full speed. So let's just park this here, like that. There we go. Now we can put this away. We're going to have to hop into the truck, or the pickup truck, and make our way over to the other farm so we can collect the big M. Gate is already open, so we don't have to worry about that. Let's just hop the fence. There we go, and we've got to go all the way up to the BGA, because that's where I stored the big M. I completely forgot where it was I put it for a second then. I was going to go to the other farm, and I just remembered it's at the BGA. So I'll see you once we get to the BGA. So as we drive in, there you can see is the big M. We're going to actually park up in the repair bay just here, out of the way. There we go. Open up. It's quite a tight fit for this in here as well, actually, but these doors do actually go a little bit higher, so we can actually get out of here reasonably comfortably as long as we're careful. You can see there the height clearance is okay, but on some of these other buildings the doors don't go quite up as high. It is a little bit of a struggle. So let's make our way over to our animal farm. Let's collect the tedder. Get some indicators on. Let's get some beacons on as well with this thing. A very big, imposing piece of machinery, especially on these roads, which are, you know, not necessarily narrow as such, but because they're slightly raised, they have that little lip on the edge. So if you're not careful, you can end up just completely slipping off. And we just clipped a bollard there, trying to be careful. But you can end up just clipping your wheels off the edge. If I go like this, you'll be able to see just how wide we are in comparison to the width of the road itself. And then obviously we have a pavement just here, but on the other side of the road there is no pavement. It's just a little drop down to the field, so you can end up kind of straddling a little bit. You do need to really be careful with some of your placements on these roads. We are slightly slower than the traffic here, or slightly faster than the traffic. This is sort of 18 mile an hour territory just here. So let's slow the cruise control down a bit. Try not to give the driver in front too much of a heart attack when he looks in his rear view mirror and sees us right behind him, right on his bumper. And here we are arriving at the farm. So make the turn in. Let's get hooked up to our Pottinger Tedder. This is going to be tricky like this. I'm going to have to do this in third person. Otherwise I'm going to be faffing around an awful lot trying to find the tow bar. There it is. I see the PTO going up through as well. Actually goes through the frame. It's not really designed to go through the frame like that, but you know, needs must, unfortunately. Right, let's get the gate opened. Which way are the gates open? They're opening into the field. Okay, so we'll have to close them again behind us, possibly. We might be okay. See, we're just kind of flattening the grass a little bit behind us. Let's get them folded. It's such an impressive sight watching it do this. Right, and I need to make sure that the covers are open. There we go. I think that's lifted them. Yeah, there you can see the exposed auger inside there. So this will be wide cut mode. So off we go and start tedding. Got a huge expanse of grass for us to work with. Going to make an awful lot of hay off this field, which is good. We really need to start stockpiling because, as I say, we do want to try and bring in some animals as soon as we can, some cows onto this farm. We don't have straw yet, but we have plenty of fields that are going to yield straw for us, so a little later in the year we will actually be able to do that. We don't have any silage yet either, but we do have hay. And obviously we can get some grass as well. So I am going to probably buy, or at least I'm going to go out with the Big M and do a little bit of grass mowing somewhere as well, so that we can get some grass off the field ready for the cows. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to store that just yet. I'm not sure if the silo itself, I think the silo takes grass. I'll have to double check that at the main farm. I honestly can't remember, but I think it does take grass. So we could store grass up there. The other alternative that we have is that we could come in and we could just mow sections of this field as and when we need it for grass during the summer and not actually store grass anywhere at all. Obviously we can't store bales of grass because they will just immediately start to rot, and after 2 days they're gone. But if we have sections of the field, then we could just kind of cut what we need when we need it, which would be great for certain parts of the year, but you know, only really from the summer onwards. You know, from winter through spring we would need to have some kind of stored amount of grass, or just not feed them grass at all. And grass makes up 20% of the food for cows, so that's an awful lot of food to just not have. It's certainly not going to improve their health or their milk yield if we don't feed them with grass. So need to have a little bit of a think. But I think, you know, if the silo takes loose grass, then we will probably end up storing a load of loose grass in there. I love watching this thing just bouncing up and down like this. You know, thanks to the ground response mod, even though we have pretty much tabletop flat surfaces here, you know, the ground response really does add that nice little bit of bounce to your vehicles as you're working them. And there we go. This section is done. Just raise the mowers and the tedders. Now we can start working across the field. You can see we've got a really nice big area here of hay, and this is only half of the field. We've still got all of that expanse over there to do as well, so we're going to make a really nice large number of hay bales off this, and once that's done, we'll start stocking up on some grass. We'll do a quick little test, make sure that we can actually store grass inside the silo, which I'm pretty sure we can. And from there we'll then obviously transport a load over so that we have grass all throughout the year, and we'll save it exclusively for the cows. We'll use hay for the sheep and we'll use grass just for the cows. That way we don't have to worry about not having enough or running out too soon. So we've just got this kind of small area on this section of the field left now. The big pieces have been done. You see it's making these sweeping turns here. Not a lot left to do. And I haven't gone right up to the edges on some parts of the field. I've kind of left it with a small border. That's fine. I'm not too worried about making sure that I get every single last scrap of grass off this field. It's a little awkward to get in some places, and it's just easier, I think, to run it like this. There we go, and you can see if we look at the weather as well, we're being kind of blessed a little bit by the weather gods. You know, we've had a lot of rain, an awful lot of rain in spring and summer. We have glorious sunshine predicted today. I don't think the weather's going to change later, so we should be fine for today. But if you look at the next few days as well, all the way through to like day 5, the worst it's predicting is just clouds. We're not getting predicted any rain. It's not to say it won't rain. You know, the weather is random and notoriously does not tend to stick to the schedule. So we could well see some rain, but on a day like this, when we have these glorious blue sunny skies and no threat of impending rain, we can cut grass all day long if we wanted to, and not have to worry about a sudden snap of rain, you know, rotting our crop on the field, which is great. It takes a lot of pressure off. And the fact that we have another 4 days of weather that's going to be good for kind of mowing is really, really good to see. Really pleased with that. I say it takes a little bit of the pressure off as to when we actually need to do our next round of sort of mowing. And what I'll probably do is I'll probably try and squeeze in some more mowing on day 5 over by the orchard, over by the forest. We are going to get a second cut on this field, don't forget. It should grow back before the end of autumn for us to get a second cut, weather permitting. That's the big thing, is whether or not the weather is going to play ball and be dry enough for us to be able to, you know, collect or ted whatever we cut. Let's get everything folded up. The next step on this field now is to break out the merger and start scooping all of this up into nice, easy to manage windrows, and then breaking out the baler. And from there we'll get all of these bales sort of collected and stuck away into storage. So I'm going to park this up just here for now. We'll transport that back to the BGA a little bit later towards the end of the day, and then go and retrieve our pickup truck. And what we're going to do now is we're going to switch over to our little 800 Vario. Just going to drop off the front loader attachment here, because we aren't going to need that. I'm not going to need the rear weight either, so I'm going to drop that just here. We are going to need the merger, and this is our Bale Tractor, so this is what we're going to be using when we do any baling as well. It'll be this tractor here. There we go. So having cut and tedded all of that grass, now we need to, as I say, collect it all up, and this is the first step in doing that. There we go. I'm probably going to rely on a worker on parts of this field just to keep it all nice and neat and tidy for us. So what I'm going to do is get everything unfolded first of all. I'm going to do my edges. And once I've done the edges, I'm going to unleash a worker to run up and down and get nice, clean, smooth windrows along here. I want to get right up against the edge of the fence. There we go. And let's see, which way is this going? Is it left or right? Let's check the direction of the belts. That's going to the right, sorry, to the left. So we change that. There we go, it's going to the right, and I want the edges to go down the centre. So let's lower this. We should get a nice central windrow along here, like so. And this is just to get it away from the fences. Now I know we don't have collisions, but I do want to sort of try and play as though there are collisions on these fences. So the aim is to try and create windrows that are clean and away from the rest of the crop, and then to aid us in turning, I'm going to do another sort of directional section along here. So which way is this one going now? That's okay, that's the way I want it to go. It's going out on the left hand side. So to make this row a little bit bigger, and also to give us more of a gap between where the stuff on the field is going to end and this sort of barrier row is going to start. I'm just going to run along here like this and just scoop up this section here. This way the worker shouldn't get confused between this windrow on the end and this section that he's going to be running up and down on, and that way he won't end up with these weird kind of blobs, hopefully, at the end of each pass. That's kind of the plan anyway. Some of these fences do have collisions, like this one in front of me, that does. So again, we have to be kind of careful. And the fences around the cows and the sheep, they will have collisions as well, but the fences bordering the roads and the fields do not. So it gives us a little bit of flexibility when working this area. And of course there are trees dotted around in place, and the trees do have collisions as well, so again we've got to be careful that we don't go into a tree. So we might end up with a very thin strip along the edge, or I might have to reposition the worker slightly, but let's get this lined up. And off he goes. So I'm not too worried about tiny little pieces, I can always tidy those up afterwards. But as I say, I am a little wary of the tree getting in the way. I may have to take slight avoiding action when we get there. But this is going to give us these really nice, clean windrows all the way up and down this field, and nice thick windrows as well, because obviously the merger is going to take two sets of windrows and stick them into one. Give us really nice fat windrows. You see the worker there not liking the fact that that tree is there. We just managed to squeeze through, which is good. And this is where it's going to get a little bit complicated as well, because I'm going to try and converge the windrows ever so slightly. So if I go through to here first of all and stop about there, that's actually a little bit too far. I need to do the same on this side as well. I need to have clean windrows running up and down here. So I can say it's going to get a little bit complicated. In fact, actually I'm spitting out on the left side, aren't I? Yes. So I need to be at the other end of the field. Again, I'm going to need to do the bottom piece, and this time I'm just going to do a single pass along the bottom. Just because it's a little bit tight around here, you know, with these fence posts. Yes, they don't have collision, so it's not technically an issue, but as I say, I do want to try and keep that semblance of reality. And any little tufts that get left over, we can just destroy with a weeder later as well, so we don't have to worry about little bits of grass or hay being left on the field and looking a bit weird, because as soon as we run a weeder over this to fertilise it, ready for the next cut, it'll get rid of those offcuts. So this time we are going to have those weird little lumps at the edge of the field, but I can live with that here. So let's get lined up, unleash the worker. We may have a few tree issues again, but hopefully we'll have nice clean windrows running up and down this long section here. Already you can see just that nice big windrow starting to form. It's going to spit out bales so quickly on this, and here you can see where the path I took deviated ever so slightly to get a little bit closer to those trees. We'll end up with a thin pass there. Again, I'm not too worried about going back and collecting that. Depends if it gets too much wider. I might do. We'll see how we go at the end. And then this here is going to be my border for the two sections of this field. You know, the horizontal and the vertical. Like so. There we go. So hopefully he'll turn left. Yep, there we go. Fantastic, and there we go. We're going to get some really nice big fat windrows, perfect for baling. So I'm going to scoot on ahead a little bit further. I'll let the worker do his thing, and then once that's done, we will then come in with the baler and start baling up all of these windrows of hay. Okay, so with the worker having completed that little section there, because we've only got this thin pass left, again I'm trying to avoid those posts even though I can drive through them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to centre this section here, like so. There we go. So it just pulls it a little bit away, makes it a little bit easier for the baler to get up there. And once this is done, we can then continue working the horizontal section of this field. But we've got some really nice big windrows, as you can see, going down this side section here. There's a lot of product there. I'm really curious to see just how many bales we can get off this field. My guess is it's going to be quite a lot, because this is only half of the field. So the other half is still over there, look, waiting to be rowed. So an awful lot of product for us to work with. We are certainly not going to run out of bales, that's for sure. I'm trying to think what kind of numbers I'm going to need. Now the limit is 200, so we're going to be hitting that limit, and then I'm trying to work out what kind of percentage I'm going to need for hay versus sort of other stuff. So if I get lined up here, there we go, and higher. I need to change this back to spitting out on the left, which it is doing. You just see with the belt there. Get the worker hired again. I need to kind of figure out how many hay bales I need versus how many straw bales out of that allocation. So I'm thinking 125 hay and 75 straw, but straw might be a little bit too much, but it will give us the flexibility of being able to mix that in with some TMR when we're making, mix it in with silage and with hay for TMR to help thin out our silage supplies as well as our hay supplies, so we don't burn through those quite so quickly. And also, I think it'll help us, we'll definitely make sure we have well more than we need for bedding and stuff. So we're going to have a nice large amount of bales. I'm going to hit that 200 bale limit. Well, I do already have, I think, still 9 or 10 bales. I think it's 9 bales left of hay left inside the shed over there, which we've been using to feed our sheep. So that's the other thing as well. I mean, the hay that we're making, it's not just for TMR, it's also to feed the sheep as well. So we do have to make sure we have a good large percentage. So I'm thinking maybe possibly go up to 150 hay bales so that we can cover the sheep's food supply as well as TMR purposes, and then just rely on 50 for straw. I don't want to get caught out with not quite enough straw, in 12 months time. So I don't know, it's going to be somewhere in that kind of range of 125.75 to 150.50. It's going to be somewhere in that kind of window. It's going to be the kind of final shakedown, and then anything that we have left over, we'll just sell those bales at the BGA, get some digestate, and then we'll be able to use that on fields to cut down on our fertilising costs as well. So that's the plan. And there we go, that is the last little bit here of this field. Absolutely perfect. And you can see actually that my money has been going up quite a bit while we've been doing this. That's the income from our greenhouses. They seem to have really kicked up a notch now that we've moved into summer. They're generating a lot more money than they were before. So we're actually making quite a nice little bit of profit right now. It does look as though perhaps the greenhouses are variable income based on the season, which I suppose makes a lot of sense. I'm kind of quite pleased to see that. Alright, let's grab the baler. Make our way back onto the field. And if you're a betting man, place your bets now as to how many bales we're going to make. It's going to be a lot, but beyond that, I have absolutely no idea exactly how many we're going to make. But as you can see, we have these really big windrows and a lot of them as well. So this is going to take us quite some time to get them all baled, and then even longer to get them all collected and stacked and put away. This is probably going to take the entire rest of the day for me to get all of this done. So we can't risk leaving them out overnight just in case we do get a snap in the weather. They are going to have to be stacked and stored today. So let's crack on with getting them baled and see exactly how quickly. Look how quickly that count is going up as well. You can see the first bale has already been created and now being pushed out the back. This is going to spit out so many bales. I think we may end up possibly even having to sell some of these bales right now. I don't know whether or not we're going to need to do any more hay baling this year. This could be absolutely all we'll ever need to do. I'll leave that windrow to the end if I can, and just run up and down on these banded ones here, and then we'll do the edges, as I say, as the last kind of thing on the field, so we don't have bales sort of at the ends of windrows as I'm trying to turn onto them. You can see we're spitting them out quite quickly already along here. That's our kind of drop rate in terms of distance. There is a large number of bales for us to work with. So yeah, as I say, this is going to take me quite some time to get done, so I'm going to skip ahead a bit. You'll see a load of bales kind of just dropping as I skip through this section, and then I will see you at the end when we're kind of ready to start scooping them all up. We're not even managing to get all of the straw off or the hay off the ground. Look, it's just so deep in places that we're leaving patches behind. Never seen a baler really struggle with windrows like that before. That's a little unusual. I mean, that one was a particularly thick windrow because that was actually a couple of different windrows that were kind of merged together, so it's about 1.5 times the size or thickness of the other ones, but even so. Right, now we should have a nice clean run all the way along this section of the field, so I'll jump ahead a bit and I'll catch up with you once I've got a bit more headway done on this baling. Spitting out bales at an incredibly fast rate of pace here. You can just see the count just going up and up and up so fast. I'm slightly worried actually as to just how many bales I'm going to end up with on this field now. I really didn't think it was going to be quite as many as this, and this is only with stage 2 fertilization, don't forget. We didn't hit stage 3 because we weren't quick enough with our fertilizing, so it could be even higher next time we do a cut on this. It's already going to be at stage 1 because we've just mowed it, and then we weed it to stage 3, so that's 2 trips with a weeder, and then I shudder to think just how much material will be available off this field. An awful lot, that is for sure. I tell you what, this is really going to give us a huge boost towards doing silage at the farm. A massive boost. We're on the final windrow. There are still little scattered patches, just gone past one there, where there are bits that we could collect if we really wanted to, but to be honest, the sheer number of bales that I've created on this field, I mean, you can only see kind of this little area outside the windows, but it's a vast number of bales that we've created here. And we do still have these little areas, as you can see at the ends, where the rows got quite built up and there were just too much material to go through the baler unless we kind of crawled through it at like 1 mile an hour. So we're pretty much done with the baling. Let's eject any bales that we had left in there. There we go. We've got a part bale there, which we can probably actually get. Let's see if we can clean out the baler. With the material that we have left on the field, we'll get to 4,000 litres and then we'll stop. So we've got just this thin kind of pass that then becomes 2 little rows here, and there's enough clumps dotted around to get us up to 3,000, up to 4,000 without any major issues. And we'll get one more complete bale off this field, so we have a nice empty baler. Okay, so now I need to find a clump, and there's handily there's a few over here, look, as you can see, where just, as I say, a very large amount of grass and hay on this field, way more than I perhaps anticipated. I still have no idea how many bales we've created, but it's going to be a very large amount. We'll check the count in just a second to see just how busy we've been. I just want to, as I say, try and get one more complete bale. We're so close. Oops. Little pause for a second there. Not quite sure what caused that. There we go. And then we got, I mean, just look. Look at all the bales that are everywhere. All the way down there, all through here, all down this section of the field as well. That is a lot of bales. I wouldn't be at all surprised if we've got very close. Oh, we've got an entire road here I completely forgot about. Oh, well, we have to do that. We can't not do that row. So, okay, plenty more baling to do, but we'll try it again and finish on an even amount if we can. So let's get this final row done, and again, this should spit out quite a few bales as well. Look how quickly they're being formed. Not quite as much as the main rows because it's not quite as much material being collected on this section, but still a lot. This might be the last bale that we make here. Oh, look at that. We're back to where we were, just about 100 litres short or so. Again, there'll be enough little bits around here for us to find. I mean, you can see here we've got a nice big sort of clump in this area where we were having issues on that really, really big row, and it's going to be the same all the way down here. So there will be material available to us. Let's try and get to 4,000 exactly if we can. There we go. Slightly over. Okay, well, it's not too much. So let's take a look then and see just how many bales we have actually created on this. This is going to be a very large amount. Let's see. Where is it? Created bales. 149 in total. 113 this session. Wow, that is a lot of bales. And that's pretty much all my allocation for straw. For hay. So we don't need to do any more hay baling this year. So any other grass that we do now is going to be grass to either go loose into the silo, or is going to be potentially silage bales, which would then just be sold off. And in fact, once we get hay, we're not going to have any space to make silage bales in our allocation. So yeah, that is an awful lot of bales, and I don't think this is probably the best trailer for that. The tractor, sorry. We might need something a little bit more powerful, but let's start collecting these bales, getting them stacked up, and then transporting these into the shed for storage. So I'm going to have to move those bits of equipment, because that's where I'm going to kind of deposit the bales. Or I could stack them on the outside actually and then drive them in on the other side. So we'll just leave them stacked up on the field. Oh, I've grabbed two through the wall of the shed, I think. I got a little bit too close to the wall of the shed and grabbed two bales. So I might have to work on the stack in there a little bit. But yeah, 113 bales on the field. We need to start gathering those up. So I will see you in just a moment. Gathering up the last of the bales on the field. Just got two more to go. There we go. And our total collected count is actually too high than it should be, because don't forget, we accidentally scooped two bales through the wall when we were driving the trailer past of our storage building. That's something I'm going to need to be very careful of in the future. Make sure that I don't accidentally kind of pull bales out of storage by mistake. I've been very careful with the forks. I didn't even consider the trailer. That will make sure that it's not in pickup mode. Oops, damn it. Again, we've just kind of broken that stack a little bit now as a result. Let's see if I can at least straighten up here. There we go. That's not too bad. So there we go. That is the result of all of our hard work today. All of those bales collected up there. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 full stacks and one almost full stack on the end as well. That is a lot of bales. And let me put the help window on to make sure that this is in the right position. It is. It's in the transport position right now, so I shouldn't pick up any bales. I'm just going to quickly test this by driving close to the edge of that final stack over there. It shouldn't pick anything up. Nope. Excellent. So this is now kind of in safe mode, so to speak. I don't have to worry about it picking things through the wall. But let's get this moved out of the way. I need to then put the weight back on the rear of the tractor, rehook up the front loader arms, and then begin the long and slow process of transferring all 115 bales off the field into the shed. and get them all stacked and organised neatly. That's going to take me the rest of the day, and it's already 5 o'clock, so no more jobs for the day. Baling is pretty much taking up every bit of time that we had available, and then a little bit more on top of that as well. I'm going to end the episode here, and I will show you the fruits of my labour and my efforts next time out. We'll take a quick look inside there, and you'll see all the bales stacked up and ready for use. But as I say, that's it from me today. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I'll be back with another episode of Fendt Farm here on GreenRiver very soon.